Hey guys, it's that time again where I read other people's content to give myself the chills and hopefully don't butcher their story enough to give you the chills. Oh yeah, I also rate the stories at the end, even though I am in no way, shape or form qualified to rate anybody's artistic flair in story making. But anyway, we might as well get straight into it. So the first story is by Naz Nariath. Or I've probably completely butchered that pronunciation. But anyway, the story's called Plastic Pipe. Her blonde hair bounced around her shoulders as she danced. Her backless dress hung loose around the soft swell and sway of her. I was in love. "You have two choices to make," she said, leaning in, warm breath in my ear, sweet and incredibly close. "Two choices? So listen carefully." I wiggled my fingers, trying to reach for her. My hands were pressed against my hips, my elbows dug into my sides. My head felt warm and pleasantly fuzzy. My fingers scritched against something hard and plasticky. Her pretty face seemed to slide away from me, up and up, framed in a little circle of light above me, getting smaller, like the moon in the sky. Is this a dream? My voice sounded strange. I could feel my own sticky breath on my face, so very close. "I switched drinks with you," she said, her voice echoing down from her bright little circle. "I don't like it when people try to drug me." Drug you? It seemed so funny. Had I tried to do that? Maybe I had. It was the sort of thing I did sometimes. A couple of roofies to get them in the mood. My shirt was bunched up at the back. I tried to adjust it, but I couldn't reach. "First choice," she said again. "Do you want water?" "Sure, water, why not?" A bright little stream tumbled down onto my face, into my eyes. I lapped at it. The coldness cleared my head. My shirt was still untucked, and I could tell one of my shoelaces was undone. I tried to adjust myself, but I still couldn't move my body. The hazy, happy feeling was starting to fade as the water ran down my back. "Choice 2, she said. "Do you want oxygen?" "What do you mean?" The girl moved out of the circle above my head. Then a moment later she returned with a red canister like a fire extinguisher. "There's about 2 hours worth of air in there with you. But with this little cylinder and the water you've just had, you might last 3 days. Maybe you'll be rescued. Who can say? So I'll ask one last time. Do you want oxygen?" It's a plastic sewer pipe, and I'm at the bottom of it, wedged in vertically with my arms by my sides. I can't think. I can't believe what's happening to me. No oxygen," I croak out. "What was that?" "No oxygen," I scream. My voice echoes around me. "I can't really hear you," says the girl. "I think you said you wanted oxygen." There's a little hiss, and the red canister slides down the pipe and cracks me on the forehead. She holds up a big brown plastic sewer cap to show me. "Have fun in there." No, please don't." The lights go out. I can hear the cap twisting shut. Then the sound of footsteps walking away. So that was an experience. I've never portrayed someone who uses drugs like that to get girls. I'm not going to use the terminology on here because I want to keep it family friendly, but these are not nice people. And I'm glad that this person is going to die a slow death, to be fair. So that's pretty good for the woman in the story to get her own back that way. Anyway, there's some really sweet justice in that as well. The fact that she manages to bonce him on the head with a an oxygen tank, and that's going to keep him alive for longer. That sort of torture is going to be awful. The claustrophobia that you'd feel. Ugh. As much as it wasn't creepy, the story is really good, and I really enjoy how this is done. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5 for Spooky Bookies. This is just thinking the psychological effect that's going to have on that guy. Oh, he deserves so much more if he's been using that drug on other women. It's just bittersweet, and I really, really like this story. So our next story is another one from Hyper Obscura, the Queen of Horror. And this story is called In the Kingdom of Kitsch. The computer screen flickers. Erratic patterns of pixelated noise creeping up and down the dull surface of it. I hardly even notice anymore. You know, that thing your brain does where it hides inconsequential information from you? Like your nose? You don't want to be staring down at your nose all day. That'd be quite annoying. The office smells faintly of coffee stains and fading off-white walls. Brown carpeted floors soaked in depression. Years of weary footsteps forming greying trails. An office should be like this, mildly unpleasant and wonderfully monotonous. I hear the humdrum activity of clacking keyboards all around me. Pasty faces and thinning hair, horn-rimmed glasses and pursed lips. A low murmur of tedious sighs, colourless poetry. Grant Trabbert, a voice cuts through the heavenly boredom. I look up from my screen in mild excitement. I don't like it. Too many emotions. That's me, Grant Trabbert III, first of his name. Don't wear it out. A balding man wearing a white shirt and a grey tie. Middle management, I suspect. His nose is buried in a clipboard, but I spot tiny patches of unshaven beard on his neck. Oddly shaped birthmarks and browning pimples. It's funny how you don't really notice these things. It's that thing your brain does, I guess. He looks at me warily. I don't think you could wear it out any more than is, he mumbles. I nod, the unsteady nature of my smile probably too indistinct to signal mild amusement. You've been promoted, he mumbles. Please gather any objects of personal value and follow me. Changes? I'm not too sure about this, and I don't have any objects of personal value. There's no such thing. I ready myself, elbows against a waning desk. Then I realise. I can't, I mutter. Of course you can't. The man, who is no longer a man, says. We simply needed to know if you desired to. Numbers flickering on the screen. Erratic patterns of pixelated noise. 13118201. You know, that thing your brain does? I'm no longer behind my desk, and I let out a hollow scream into the vast void. Wires and tubes and needles clawing at my flesh. Gleaming tendrils squirming into every orifice. Skin white as snow, black as gangrene, oozing wounds dripping with unnamable fluids. Every second like an eternity of unimaginable torment. Rows upon rows of us, people in glass casings, people of wire and tube and flesh and organs. But they're not people. They're me. They're all me. The man who is not a man. In fact, he is not even alive. Not by standards of organic sustainability, in any case. Studies me with impossible machine eyes. Clone reset, he explains. We'll have you back in no time. The computer screen flickers unsteadily. Erratic patterns of pixelated noise creeping up and down the dull surface of it. I hardly even notice anymore. You know, that thing your brain does. Oh, this is so cool of a story. It's got that Matrix vibe to it, and I love every second of reading it. It is really creepy as well. I mean, that's getting a 4 out of 5 from me straight away. The fact that there's so many different clones and they're all tubed up with wires, and you know, it's just a reset back. The ending and the beginning is really good at giving you sort of like that picture and that despair that only you can feel. They can't feel it because they've been reset. And I really enjoyed that one. It's really good, and it's got so many levels to it as well. So 4 out of 5 spooky wookies from me. Hyper Obscura, you've done it again, you've smashed it. I love the last one, and I love this one. The next story is by Reddit user Latchkey. It's called I Planned It Perfectly. We went for a sunset joyride, by my request. I asked to go to a secluded location where we could be alone. We drove into the mountains, and I asked her to park so that we could take a walk. Everything I needed was already there. I borrowed her car a week earlier and brought the shovel, the rope, and the pickaxe. Her death was peaceful, but the hard work was the digging. Time was of the essence. I had to dig a deep grave and cover her body before daylight. It was a long night, but it was just pushing dawn by the time I had the crime scene covered up and camouflaged. My body ached from the exhaustion of physical labour. My day at work would be painful, but at least I would have an alibi. I had left my cell phone at home, and my movements were undetectable. All I would have to do was drive home unnoticed. When I sat down fatigued in the driver's seat, I realised that she had the car keys in her pocket. That's, imagine being that calculated and that, you know, planning this out for ages. I say imagine doing that, please don't imagine doing this. But, yeah, just for the simplest thing of getting the car keys to be the downfall of your masterful plan. You know, it's a really short story, but it's really good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed reading that. Her death was peaceful, but the hard work was the digging. But you could have got the keys. Idiot. Murderer. That's me done. That's getting 3 out of 5 spooky wookies. It was short. There was a creepy element to it. But it is just more funny than anything, really. So 3 out of 5 from me. So that was r/short scary stories. I hope you enjoyed me reading these as much as I enjoyed reading them, and I hope I didn't butcher anything for you. If you disagree with my ratings, please comment down below and tell me how much of a goof I am, and put your ratings down below. Don't forget to look out for the podcast for next week. It should be up on Monday if my editing skills are still as good as they were last week, which is pretty likely because they're pretty awful anyway. So there's going to be no improvement on my editing skills at all. So look out for that Monday, and take care.